definitely want to see more diversity, and you definitely want to see more women. As you noted, like, so I was recognized as Merrill Lynch's first African-American female broker on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and then
that was in 2004.
That was in 2004, and then the New York Stock Exchange, again, was a member-only organization, so it had 1,366 members. There were no other black female traders at the time, so I was also the only one on the floor of all its members.
Which is insane. I mean, if you think about it, 1,400 people. If you took 1,400 people and just put them in a room, and then you just placed you in the center, 1,400 whites.
Right.
And then this beautiful little dark spot, right? That's fitting in perfectly and having no trouble and really kind of leading the pack.
Right.
So I could see where that might be intimidating for most, but for you, you took it in stride and you just kept on pushing.
Took it all in stride, and you know, the thing is, so I talked about all the great stuff, and there's really great things about the exchange, and that was probably one of the shortcomings of the New York Stock Exchange and it's not just the exchange. I have to put some of the onus on the actual firms, the other firms that are there, right? So Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, you know, all the different firms who were there and represented. It's, you know, their job to go out and do diversity and recruiting, but a big piece of that is exposure. And so when I was there, I like to think that one of the things that I did was help to expose more youth to that environment. So because I had interned with SEO and I was doing mentorship, like adopt a junior, adopt a senior, the high school, working with high school students through SEO, I had an idea. Once I became a broker, I was on this diversity panel, and I was, of course, the only black woman. So instead of just having companies who had listed their stocks come be on the floor of the exchange, like the exchange would host gala sometimes in the evenings and things like that, I said, why don't we consider bringing in scholars who have never been exposed to this before? So I was able to bring in about 75 SEO scholars to the floor for a mock trading event. And that gets into the whole part of leaving legacy and giving more than you take, right? And so to be able to bring kids who lived in different boroughs of New York City who had never been exposed to the New York Stock Exchange, even though they live right in New York, it opened the door for them potentially to say, this is a career that I might want to go into. And you mentioned Lauren Simmons. She is a phenomenal young lady. Love her to death. We talk periodically, and she is labeled the second African American female broker. And but it took 13 years, and we're talking about single digit numbers.
So 13 years from the time you left to the time did Lauren be?
For all intents and purposes, that's what we know is that I was in 2004 and Lauren started in 2017. And so it's been a long time since the stock exchange has seen another black woman to be a stock trader.
So you've identified, some of the onus is on the companies to go out and recruit, and the exposure piece is huge. But how do we prevent another 13 years from happening? That can't be, right? Yeah. How do we prevent that? What do we do? What do we need to do?
Leadership starts at the top. And the beauty is that in 2018, the New York Stock Exchange named Stacey Cunningham as their first female president. So, you know, hopefully she will put some different things in place around that. But it really is up to the individual firms that are on the exchange to go out and recruit and just be intentional. You really have to be intentional about diversity.